Denis Cyplenkov just got pinned by an unknown arm wrestler.
Rotation. Общая rotation.
Sometimes I think about this statement made by Devon about Denis.
Okay, Denis is a strong guy, but let me tell you, he's the dumbest guy at this whole table.
I don't fully agree with Devon here, but at least partially I do, and I'll tell you why. So back in the days when Denis was the champ, he had an incredible king's move. He had a very strong hook, a very strong top roll, and a very strong shoulder roll. Anyone with this wide arsenal of weapons has to be a very smart arm wrestler. The table IQ has to be very high. But now, tell me, when was the last time you saw Denis do anything else than this dad roll move that he always does? We haven't seen that in last 3 years, not against the lower ranked guys, even when Denis is struggling against them. So I think since his health issues, Denis has not only lost a ton of strength on the table, but he has lost some technique and some table IQ as well. And that's why I said I partially agree with what Devon said there. And I'll explain that more towards the end of this video. But first of all, who is this unknown guy who is pinning Denis Cyplenkov again and again with relative ease without much trouble? Well, this young arm wrestler is from Azerbaijan and he's known as Tarkhan Muzaffarov. In 2022, he was the youth WAF gold medalist on the right arm. In 2023, he won the silver medal in the WAF youth super heavyweight category. Well, Bacho was number 1. Everybody gets bachoed. And around those years, he was doing decent on the left arm too. Sometimes he was finishing on the podium, sometimes a little bit outside of that. But then he turned over 23 years of age, so he couldn't compete in the youth anymore. In 2024, in the senior super heavyweight WAF category, he got 6th on the left arm out of 17 people. And he just missed out on the bronze medal and got 4th on the right arm. So still a pretty decent arm wrestler. But I would like to mention here that WAF super heavyweight category is sometimes maybe not even as good as the 110 kg category, where we have Reno Masic and Sandris Chedis, who can probably beat most of these guys anyways. So let's talk about this practice pull now. First start, Tarkhan easily pins Denis Cyplenkov. Not a problem. Maybe Denis was caught sleeping. He was not expecting him to be that fast. Second start, another flash pin. Once again, maybe Denis underestimated the strength of this young arm wrestler. But you can clearly see that Denis is not being casual here. He's totally into it. He even asked the referee to make sure that the wrists are okay. Third start, again a flash pin, but this time it was a false start. So at this point, I was still thinking that maybe Denis has still got it. Once it was a false start and there was some mess in the other starts too. Then finally Denis manages to crack that wrist back, but to my surprise, Tarkhan showed incredible patience to not overexert himself and to not lose his wrist even more. He regained his position and still managed to get that top roll win over Denis Cyplenkov. And you can listen to the incredible support he gets after pinning the legend. So everyone talks about Cyplenkov's health issues. And that's primarily the reason why he isn't as good as he once was. But I think an equally serious issue for Denis is his style. It is his technique. I agree that even back in the days, he would take a lower grip and beat people, even top roll people, even the likes of Andrei Pushkar. You can see in this screenshot that he's taking a low grip, but then he top rolls him from there too. So it's not like it's something new to Denis, but most of the times Denis was beating people in a hook, and then that low grip was perfect for that move. Only occasionally he would have to bring out the top roll or a king's move against guys like Pushkar or Chaffee, or maybe any of the top 10 super heavyweight top rollers in the world. But now he isn't strong enough to do that, and he's still arm wrestling the same way. Imagine dad moving someone and then top rolling from there. So dad rolling someone who is anyway stronger than you. That isn't just going to work out for anyone in this world. Top rolling from a dad move isn't a smart thing now. It wasn't a smart thing when Denis was the champ. And getting back to the topic which I discussed earlier in this video, maybe Denis isn't just as smart as he used to be when he was young, because he had a lot of weapons back then. If he was number 1 and he could king's move a guy who was number 2, and now let's say he's number 10 in the world, he should still be able to king's move guys who are like number 15, or at least guys like Sergey Tokarev or this guy Tarkhan Muzaffarov, who are probably like top 30 in the world. But that isn't just happening. You don't just lose your techniques like that, because there was no physical injury in Denis Cyplenkov's arm in 2019. It was just internal health issues. So this case isn't like Oleg Jok, who had to change his technique because his arm got messed up. Denis should still absolutely have the same techniques that he had back in the day, but he doesn't. Can you even imagine Denis hooking and beating someone now? Can you even imagine Denis kings moving Devon Right now? But it could have happened back in the days. So that's it for this video. I know Tarkhan Muzaffarov isn't really an unknown arm wrestler, but that sounds good when you've just pinned Denis Cyplenkov. I hope you understand that. Thanks for watching, like the video and subscribe.